of you guys have played with that? All right, raise your hand, raise your hand. Now keep your hand, okay, put your hand down if you've never ate it.
Wait, put your hand down if you've never ate it?
How many of you have ate Play-Doh once in your life? Okay, now keep your hand up if you enjoyed it and kept eating it. Go ahead, Devin. Rise really high. Oh, both of you. Jack is back.
Jack is in.
Yeah. Play-Doh. It's one of those cool things. It's one of those things when we're little, even if you have kids, you still do it with them. It's still kind of fun. You play with it, roll it up, whatever, and you turn it anything you want it to be. As long as your imagination is there, and as long as you think it looks like it's supposed to look, it's all that matters. So, like, you could play with Play-Doh, and your kids could be like, look, it's a house, and you look at it, and it's like this, right? And you're like, yeah, it is. But in their mind, they think it's a house. A lot of times, our perception of what we do in our own lives looks a lot different than the way God sees it. Okay, so this morning, I'm going to be talking about reshaping our inner self, reshaping the inside, reshaping your inner walk with God. A lot of times we think it looks like something, and we totally hold tight to it like it looks just like this. But God's looking at it thinking, how does that look like a dog to you? Like, how is that happening? It doesn't look like a dog. It's not barking. There's nothing to it. But we're like, no, it's totally a dog, right? But reshaping is actually this thing that begins to happen, that has to happen in order for your walk with God to improve, to go to the next place, to actually exist. To say, God, no matter what I've created for myself, I'm handing it over to you to reshape me, reshape who I am. So it starts with two things, and I'm going to be talking about those today, and that's a new ambition and beholding God. Reshaping. So I could turn this into a ball, and I could pull it apart, and then I could take my hands and turn it into a ball again, right? So with God, He wants to come in and say, give me that object, give me this. Let me show you what it looks like to reshape it so that it actually begins to look like what I've called you to have. A lot of times we can walk around with a bunch of junk. We talked about that last week. I'm going to go over those steps briefly. But first, a new ambition. The definition is a strong desire to do or to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. A new ambition on our inner person. A new ambition on the inside of us where He dwells. There should be something inside of us that says, I want the best for Him in me. Like, I don't want to just act like it. I want it to be awesome for Him and me. Where He dwells, it's in me. He dwells within us. And so, God, give me a new ambition so that this place in here meets what you want. Not what I think, but God, what you say. Okay? Reshaping, it causes things to break away, pull things away, change things up a little bit. And every time we go through that kind of thing, it doesn't feel good. Especially when you're used to being this. This is who I am. This is me. This defines me. This is what I am. This is how I am. This is how I'm a Christian. This is how I am with my friends. This is how I am with my family members. This is me. And God says, well, that's not really what I want for you. It is when we actually say, God, with a new ambition, I want to pursue something inside of me that's different for you. And He's like, okay, well, let me have it. And I want it. And then He breaks things apart. That doesn't feel good. I'm used to this object. Breaks things apart in order to come and reshape it the way that He has asked, the way that He has wanted, what He sees things to be in us. It's hard. It's hard. We know that if you're an everywhere for all person, and this is from last week, you don't really have to write these words down again, but I want to recap them from last week. Did that help a lot last week? Did you guys, that sermon last week, just kind of like breaking down these things that keep us away from God? So these are them, the major temptations. And we talked about temptation being more than just like porn and more than just like drinking and more than the big frame stuff. Like, I've not been really tempted lately. But maybe you have. And in these ways, this is where Satan, he uses things to tempt us in smaller ways. And then we know that temptation, actually, the definition means to make unwise choices, unwise decisions. Well, here are some 4 ways that happens. The everywhere for all person. The person has to be everywhere at once. The 25% over here, 25% over here, 25% over here person. Right? And we find that that person has gotten through each day utilizing your ability to be everywhere. Email, cell phone, attending another meeting while reading emails and reading your cell phone. Pursuing God every other place, trying to find the next high in your spiritual journey. Right? And then we see that envy, covetousness, and self-promotion have lurked here. The know-it-all. The know-it-all up till now, you've habitually gotten through the day relying on theories, headlines, blogs, newspaper articles, books that you read, talks that you've heard. In this place, we find gossip and slander and arrogance have made a place here. To fix it all, you are accustomed to fervently reacting, impatient to find something, anything that would constantly stop whatever is bothering you, discomforting you. Finding it for you, finding it for people, finding it for strangers, whatever you need to do to fix it all. And this place dwells impatience, manipulation, anger, frustration. Those have all made a home there. Person that deals with immediacy, like, I need it now, God. If you're going to give it to me, I want it right now. I want it now, God. I want it now. This is the person that wants things now, finds yourself plunging way forward and not taking the right steps to get there. Forgetting the steps along the way. And here, we find apathy, restlessness, unsettlement, unsatisfaction. And it lingers here. We know that God says, hey, man, in those imperfections, I want to find a place for you, and I have a place for you where you can work through these things. And it all starts with a new ambition in here, innermost being. It can't just be like lip service to God. Like, I'm going to change. God thanks for everything you've done for me. It's great. I'm just going to go about my life, and I'm going to change. No, it's got to be this deep, deep inner change, this reshaping with the depth of who you are, with your relationship with God. It's like me and God. It's like this place where, like, in between this area, there's something shifting so much in me that it's changing my life. It's an inner change. It's a new ambition, and it's hard work. And it's not easy. Anybody knows, like, starting a new relationship, it's like hard. Like, at first it's nice, it's fun, and then after a while, it's like, man, how do I hang out with this person? Like, how did this happen? How did we become friends? Like, at first it was great. All of a sudden they became a person. I guess we can go to the movies because we don't have to talk. I mean, am I wrong? Right? There are some friendships that were like, at first it was fun, it was great, it was awesome, but then when it became kind of comfortable, and then it became kind of, I don't really want to put effort into keeping this friendship, and then it became kind of blah, and then it became kind of, that's okay, this is just what it is, then we stop pursuing that relationship. We do that to God. How do we pursue ambition? This is the number one thing. We must be willing to stop interrupting God in order to hear His direction. We've got to be at a place, and write this down, we have to be willing to stop interrupting God. It's the only way you'll hear Him. We've gotten good at that, interrupting Him. We've gotten good at our prayer time just being all about everything we need to throw out at God. And the moment that He might start to speak, guys, is this really you talking? Because I remember when I told you about this, we interrupt Him. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not the only one that did that this morning. No. You know what I'm talking about. It's kind of impatient. It's like, God, are you listening? You know, I'm talking to you. Is this not good enough? Should I change my voice? God. Have you really been in like a prayer and you're like thinking, okay, God, you know who I am. You already know. God, you know who I am. Change it up. Maybe if you get a little bit more like about it, it's like you're going to hear from Him, right? Well, we get in this mode where we're praying, but we interrupt Him. I went to the doctor this week, which it was a great experience. I'm used to Kaiser, or I was not in Kaiser. I was at a medical clinic, right? And I was just like, wow, this is taking like 5 hours. This is fine, right? So I'm kind of like a little impatient about it in there, and I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, am I ever to be seen? My appointment was at like 11. I got seen like at 3, and I'm like, right? So I go in, and this older guy, doctor, he comes in, and I'm like, hey, I think I was healed in India or something because I don't have like the same iron issues that I had. And I was like, it's my favorite part about India was the healing. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, so you went through that? I was like, yeah. And he's talking to me, and I'm like trying to tell him stuff, and he's interrupting me. And I'm like, yeah, I went to India. Yeah, I've been there. And I'm like, oh, and we're like talking, and then this doctor's appointment. And hey, interruption. Can you believe that? So anyway, I burnt myself at Sierra's barbecue thing, and So he comes and he goes, so what happened there? And I'm right when I'm up saying I got burnt. He's like, you got burnt, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I got burnt. Yeah, you did. And I was like, so I'm doing okay. He said, yeah, your heart's perfect. Everything's fine. We're going to run some blood tests. And I'm like, cool. And he's like, the whole time I'm talking to this guy, he's interrupting me. And he's supposed to give me answers for my health, right? But he's interrupting me. And I'm finally like, can I get out of here? Can we go? Like, I just want to go. Like, this has been great. He's been a very nice guy. But I have no clue what just happened in this whole conversation. So I leave, and I leave wondering, am I okay? Like, the whole time he's interrupting me, right? And I just think about that, how we do that with God. Like, how do we leave a conversation with him after we've interrupted him so much? We probably leave feeling like, I don't know if God even hears me. I don't even know if he's listening. I don't even know if he even listens to anything I say. Probably because you've interrupted him so much that he couldn't tell you anything to let you know where you're at. And the number one thing, guys, is stop interrupting God. I want you to picture a host sends out invites. This is my awesome dinner. Everyone comes to the dinner. There's a spokesperson there to let you know what the agenda is supposed to be like that day. The host is there as well. You go into the dinner and everything's awesome. It's beautiful. It's all just for you. You can just feel it. You walked in, there's candles, there's your favorite food, it's nice violin playing in the background. You're like, oh, this is so nice. Right? And the host is like, come and enjoy. The spokesperson gets up and starts talking. The host gets up and starts talking. The spokesperson gets up and says, oh, by the way, we're doing this and this. The host is trying to say, you're welcome, you're invited, come in. If we were in that situation, we would think something's going on with the spokesperson and the host. Maybe they don't get along very well, right? Wouldn't we start assuming, like, what is up with the spokesperson? Why did they keep it just completely jacking up everything the host is saying? Imagine that in our walk with God. We're in the innermost places of our walk with God. In the deepest places of our relationship with God, we are that spokesperson, constantly over-talking the host of all hosts. It doesn't look okay, right? It looks kind of rude. It looks a little kind of selfish. We've got to get to a place where we stop interrupting God. You really want to truly find a new ambition within your inner place. It's got to stop when it comes to interrupting. You guys following that? I know it's kind of like, man, that's pretty hardcore stuff. We interrupt God. We do this when we speak to him, as if we could say so much more to the creator of the universe than he could ever say to us. As if what we say to him would totally matter way more than anything he could say to us. As if our prayers, there's like billions of people on this planet. Not that he doesn't listen to every single one of them, but it's as if, God, you really need to hear what I got to say here. Are you kidding me? We've got to change our mentality. And when you start to change this, you stop running to him when things go wrong, because you already are with him. This is a problem with interrupting him. We start to run to him when things aren't going right, because then our prayer life looks a lot like, what are you doing for me? Run to him. We give it all to him, then we interrupt him and go away. And then we go back to him, give it all to him, and then we go away. Stop interrupting him if you want a true new ambition within your inner self. This change, it's like deep change where you like fall on your face, on your knees, and God, I want to just meet with you. I want to be with you. Interrupting him will prevent that. Let's look at some scriptures. And we know in Matthew, it says that anyone who has ears, who can hear should listen. But in Luke 8, still, other seed fell on good soil where it sprang up and produced a crop 100-fold. And as Jesus said this, he called out, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. So we know that even by quieting ourselves and listening, that things will fall on good soil and will produce. We've got to stop interrupting God. Mark 4:23, it says, if anyone has an ear to hear, let him hear. It doesn't say, if anyone has a mouth, let him talk a whole bunch. Thou that have mouth, use it. Like Jesus doesn't like raise up, everyone here just begin to talk. Right? The next one. Revelations 3:6, he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. So not only do we need to hear what he's saying to us, but we need to listen to what God is saying to the churches. Right? It's all about listening. Hearing. Go to the next one. Psalms 27:14. Wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently. say there on that? If anyone has ears, let them hear. So we know that listening is the key to true reshaping. Listening is right where it begins to happen, is when we say, God, where does this piece go? And we quietly listen. We wait. We wait. We wait. Even in our impatience, we wait. We listen. And we say, no, it goes here. Or, God, where does this piece go? Oh, never mind. I kind of know. I see where it's supposed to go. I can put it right here. Are you following me on that? It's deep. It's in here. Silence over sentences. Silence over sentences. That's a deep saying. It's a deep phrase. It's got to become a rhythm of your heart where it's silence over sentences in your relationship with God. Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, okay, I'm going to pray now. God, I'm about to meet with you. I'm going to pray. And then you go through this whole list of things. That was a good prayer. And then you fall asleep. Is it just me? No. Or you pray, you kneel down, you pray, you get everything out. Woo, I feel better. Peace out. You leave. You praying when you're driving, right? It's a great prayer. Having a moment with God, like I'm just pouring out my feelings. All my emotions. I'm getting to where I'm going. I got 5 more minutes. Thank you, God. Praying. You pull up. You park. Turn the car. You get out and you leave everything in the essence of the presence of God there waiting to be heard. Give them our quick little moments of us spattering out prayer. If you really want to work through your imperfections, it's going to take time of silence, silencing your sentences for Him to speak to you, to reshape you. Beholding the presence of God, not interrupting Him, and allowing Him to pour directly into your deepest places. It's like God gave me this vision of like a apparatus. Like it's these 2 things at the end, and one's filling up, one's causing it to fill up, and it's like this form that's happening in our prayer life. It should look a lot like that, where we get to a place where we're just willing to receive, willing to listen. And because of that, all of a sudden, the reaction is that we're filled up. It's not supposed to look like this balancing act. I'm praying and listening. I'm praying and listening. I'm praying and listening. I'm praying and listening. It's not supposed to look like that. Sometimes it's supposed to be like, I'm just listening to God. I'm just listening. Silence over sentences, patiently wait for the Lord. Patiently wait. Jesus Himself shows that in silence we are able to hear the voice of God, and He actually shows us in this place where you honor the host of all hosts. Check out this scripture, John 12:49, 50 through 50. So I don't speak on my own authority. The Father who has sent me has commanded me what to say. Well, that just changed that up right there. So what to say and how to say it. 50. And I know His commands lead to eternal life, so I say whatever the Father tells me to say. Get this. Jesus Himself shows us what it looks like to have an actual active life with God. And that actually looks like listening. And it actually looks like not only listening, but then, because I've listened, it's not what I'm speaking, it's what He's spoken to me. But man, if I'm interrupting Him all the time, how could I ever hear what He's wanting to say to me? If I'm always interrupting Him, how could I ever hear what He's actually speaking to me? Jesus Himself, I don't speak on my own authority. The Father who sent me has commanded me. Do whatever He tells me to say. Man, can you imagine what that looked like if it was like this? But if I drink soup, thank you, God. Everyone, I need you to hear this. But if I can, you see, but you, that's what God told me. Are you following me? But I try. Thank you, God. Thank you. But what about this one? I remember that one thing. Right? How can we ever convey what God's heart is if we're not willing for Him to pour into us this apparatus of balance that says more of you, less of me? Silence your sentences. quiet. In his quiet place, he's not this like manipulative, silent treatment. Like, God, you're not listening to me on purpose. I'm sitting here for the past 30 minutes and you're giving me a silent treatment. It's not like this manipulation that's occurring here. It's not like this crazy thing that happens. Like, I feel like I'm going insane because you're not talking to me. Right? It's not this manipulation. It's not some kind of weird thing. It's not this like expectation. Like when I ask, you're going to answer. It's a little bit haughty of us, don't you think? It isn't his excuse for passive neglect. Like, I'm going to show you. Remember how you didn't obey me? Well, guess what? When you ask me this prayer, I'm not saying nothing. That's not how God is. That's not how he loves. So it must be something about us. It must be something inside of us with this expectation that has wavered, where we have this expectation with God when we need him. That changes our outcome. It can't be because we serve a God that is just going to torture us with no answers. It must be because we actually left before he gave them. It must be because we only got half the sentence and never got the rest. Write this down. Simply to refrain from talking without a heart listening to God is not silence. Simply to refrain from talking without a heart listening to God is not silence. It's a deep concept. It blew me out the water. I sat there and was like, God, like, what have I been doing? Like, I have moments where it's like beautiful, like it's like poetry when I'm like talking to God and it's like he's pouring into me. But there are moments where I'm like, okay, turn the music off, sitting here, it's quiet. But my heart has no expectation. God, I'm waiting. I'm sitting here quietly. But my heart isn't listening. Simply to refrain from talking without a heart listening to God is not silence. Jesus shows us how he waits in silence for the voice of God, and then he speaks. Quiet is a mean of grace. Within it, God shows us our inner poverty. In that quiet place, he shows us what we're missing, what we're lacking. In that silent place where our hearts are like, God, please show me where things are at in my life. Show me the depth of who I am. God, show me, God, I'm waiting with my whole heart. That is where he shows us what we are impoverished in, what's missing. Even when we think the shape that we have looks right, it is only then when we actually seek God with our whole heart in silence that he is able to reshape us. We need this insight through our imperfections, because it gets kind of murky with all of our jacked up stuff. It gets a little murky with our imperfections. We need this. We need this place where we meet with him at the inner, deepest parts of our heart, where he changes us from the inside. And it's not going to be your words that does it. It's not going to be your prayer that does it. It's almost like saying, God, if I just prayed a little bit better, I would have a deeper relationship with you. No, it's more like if I listened a little bit more. My whole heart, I'd hear you. Let him give you new ambitions today. Let him speak to your heart today. This morning I was like getting all my sermons together. I'm on my computer, my notes together, and I'm like about to print them. And so usually my routine is I'll pray in the morning, pray over everybody, pray over you guys, pray over myself. Like, God, I don't know why this is another Sunday, right? Like, are you joking me? Right? Can we change this up? Right? So I'm like, we're going through this battle. It's always my hip that hurts, right? Yeah. Like Jacob. And then I sit and I just pray over my notes, and I go over them, and I'm like weeping, like crying, like, God, forgive me that I've done these things. And I'm just jacked up as you guys are. And he has me here. You don't even know. Like, simply to refrain from talking without a heart listening to God is not silence. really stir it up to new ambitions within your walk with God, in your deeper parts. New ambition, a strong desire to do, to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. Being quiet is hard. For some of you more than others. But it started when we were young. Don't you remember when you were like walking through the hallway and like you had to do this? The teacher was like, shh, I'm walking in the library. Alright? Megan's like talking to the wall, you know, whatever she's doing. Dom's talking to everybody. Right? Right? The wolf, I don't know if you guys did this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so you walk around, you're quiet. We have to be taught when we're little. It doesn't change with age. You still, like, God's still saying, shh, be quiet a little bit. Shh, and silence a little bit. It's going to be hard work to silence yourself. It's not easy. See? Come on, Gail. Go ahead and silence your phone. Oh, get it. Hello, yeah, I'm in church. We're actually talking about silence right now. Ironically, it's called. Anyways, this hard work, though, it will change your life. You will begin to hear God's voice, even through your imperfections, even through all your junk, even through your imperfections. You will hear His voice. What will that do? It will cause others to hear His voice as well, because then we know that He is speaking to us, inevitably through us. We've held on to fixing and knowing and being everywhere as fast as we can, like a toddler holding on to a blankie. There comes a time, and it might be right now in this very moment, where we have to let the blankie go. And you deserve a good night's rest. The whole house does. Let it go. Whatever you've been holding on to in these imperfections, these temptations that you keep falling into, these things that keep you away from Him, this blankie that has become more of your God than Him. Sooner or later, it will get easier as you let this blankie go. Sooner or later, you will have freedom, and you will not want to replace that with a blankie. You won't, because you'll be sleeping well, and everybody else will too. When I was like 16, I was staying at Tina and Kip's, my brother and Tina, my freshman year in high school. I stayed there for a semester, and Allie was like 2. So I'd be sleeping in her room, trying to sleep. She had this thing where she needed her sippy cup throughout the night, right? So I would wake up to like the cup being like tossed at my dome, like my head, right? Every night. I don't know how she did that. It was like Kool-Aid crack or something. I don't know. It was just like juice. Like, and I was like, why? And I was like tired. I was like, please get past this part of your life, kid. You know, so I'd get up and I'd like just walk to the kitchen and pour it in, and I'd come back and hand it to her. It was like a swollen melon piece. I'd lay back down. 2 hours later, crack! Man, I'm telling you, when you let go of these things that have kept you from the real relationship with God in your innermost places, it will affect those around you. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, you got rid of that sippy cup, thank God. How? How'd you do it? I had my own. That makes sense? I got my own issues. How did you do that? Because God will show Himself in your surrender. It will show in your real walk with God from here to other people. They're going to be like, can you show me how you got to that safe place? Can you show me how you got there? It starts deep in here. It starts with beholding God. Allowing Him to reshape us. Beholding God, quiet with God, in the presence of our aloneness, we grow in the solitude of our heart. Quiet with God, in the presence of people, we offer hospitality. Quiet with God, in the presence of our circumstances, we offer everyone a chance for wisdom. People are looking, they're waiting for you to have a real in-depth relationship in your being, in your deep place where you are a man of God, a woman of God that actually listens to the voice of God, that doesn't just pray and talk about it, but man, when I'm around you, I just know I'm like around you, I feel the presence of God because you've been in it. Can you show me how to get to that place? That safe place. It begins to just like pour out. The presence of God begins to pour out in your life. You used to be the kind of person that would kick the soda machine when the thing didn't come. Now you just look at it and play.
No.
Rich is still the person shaking it. Waiting for the next guy. I bought that. We got to go to a place where God's moving because we're actually spending time with Him. That's real time with Him. It's not just like talking. God, please let me hear you. Let me hear you. Let me hear. It looks a little bit different than that. It's like, God, pour into me. I'm giving you this space, this place where my heart is willing to hear from you. A new ambition to pursue the innermost being of who you are with God and actually come out looking like you have a relationship with Him. Behind closed doors, that's when it gets a little rough. Beholding God. Daniel, in Daniel 6:10, it says he went up to his upper chambers and he got down on his knees 3 times a day and met with God. And them lions knew that. Right? Daniel and the lions in, they're all like coming out of him. They're like, oh wait, this fool, he talks to God. I'm not eating him. I might combust with all that holiness. Right? Daniel, he met with God 3 times a day, earnestly seeking His face. And it wasn't when he was just in the lion. He's like, God, here I am. Take me away from these lions. They're here. They're going to eat me. Man, it was way before that happened. When we are truly alone with God, this is where there is no room for imperfection. He pushes them to the back. He says, those are on the back burner right now. You're spending time with me, and I created you. That sudden shift of wisdom begins to happen in our hearts, our soul, our mind, our body. It says to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, your soul, your mind, and strength. Mark 12:30. We should center our experience on God with those things. And so when we meet with Him, man, if you're only meeting halfway, you will leave feeling halfway. Your life will look halfway. You will live a double life. You will fall into that trap. It will happen. I don't care if you go to church every Sunday. If you are not willing to say, God, I give all, surrender all, I'm meeting with you, I'm putting it all here, you will live a double life. Behold God in your life. Submit to Him with everything. Isaiah 40:28, 31. Have you never heard, have you ever understood, the Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of all the earth. He never grows weak or weary. No one can measure the depths of His understanding. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Even youths will become weak and tired. Even young people will become tired. Young men will fall to exhaustion, but those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Those who wait upon the Lord. Those who wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord, and He will renew your strength with new ambitions as you behold God. This is reshaping of your inner self. This is that place inside of you that has to change and shift. This is that place that can't just go like, oh, well, God, you're kind of doing some things inside me. It's been awesome. I've enjoyed it. But no. See, it's deeper than that. It's actually meeting with Him and saying, God, whatever you need to do, take it, pull me apart, reshape me. I'm meeting with you not just to hear myself in silence, but I'm meeting with you with a full heart to hear your voice. And in that place, He changes us. That's where it begins. The moment you walk away from that, that's where it will end. I just haven't been feeling God much lately. I don't know if I hear Him much anymore. Maybe you stop listening. Maybe you've been talking so much. I've been there. Talk so much, worry so much, He's still speaking. Stop listening. The word behold is used numerous times in Scripture. The word behold actually means to stop immediately what you're doing and everything that you're doing. Behold means to stop everything and fix your heart or fix something, complete attention onto this. To behold God is to say, I'm stopping everything around me. Nothing is more important than this. Behold, to stop everything for a moment in order to fix our complete attention on Him. To linger in it, to find rest in that very moment, to behold Him, to know Him, so that when people see you, they know that you met with Him. When people talk to you, they know, hey, I feel like I'm talking to you. I feel like God is talking through you. I don't know if that's weird to you. And it's not like this, yeah, He is. Yeah, because I've been spending time with Him. No. The thing about that is that it doesn't even matter anymore about you. It's the fact that God is using you to speak to someone because you have spent time with Him. And if it's a genuine pursuit, it won't really ever be about you or me. It'll be about Him. And you'll be able to see this. And this is the beautiful thing about it. He gives us the chance to see like, oh my gosh, God is moving. God, thank you so much for speaking to me. God, thank you. I see what's happening here. Inside has to change. It's got to be more than just your outside. Inside was shaped. Acts 17:27. His purpose was for the nations to seek after God and perhaps feel their way toward Him and find Him. But He is not far from any one of us. He created you with a purpose. Number one, to worship Him, to spend time with Him, to know Him. To know Him, to find Him, and He's not far away. The Message Bible is a whole difference. That one's long. I'm going to read through it. But if you guys read the Message Bible, it's like the modern day, yeah. So when Jesus walked down the street, he was like. Sometimes I like reading it. Today I want to. So this is the same scripture. The God who made the world and everything in it. This master of the sky and land doesn't live in custom-made shrines or need the human race to run errands for Him. As if He couldn't take care of it Himself. He makes the creatures. The creatures don't make Him. Starting from scratch, He made the entire human race and made the earth hospitable, with plenty of time and space for living so we could seek after God and not just grope around in the dark, but actually find Him. This is deep. He doesn't play hide and seek with us. Oh, you can find me. Are you going to find me? Oh, no, you're not. Oh, yes, you are. You can do that. He's not remote. He's near. We live and move in Him. Can't get away from Him. One of the poets said it well. We're the God created. Well, if we are the God created, it doesn't make a lot of sense to think we could hire a sculptor to chisel a God out of stone for us, does it? If we are the God created, it doesn't make sense to hire ourselves to create something more than what we are, or less. But if you've been created by God and you have said, God, I want to be yours, then it's going to take a little bit of digging deep, allowing Him to reshape this inner place where we have maybe sat in silence often, but never with our heart. Or maybe we have sat and prayed often, a lot of sentences, and a lot of less silence. Beholding God as stopping everything and giving Him full attention, a new ambition. Saying, God, do what you will. Reshape me. I'm going to close with this. Proverbs 3:6, in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. In all ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. An easy way of saying it is, help me keep you first in my life, God. Help me keep you first. Help me keep you first in my life as you are reshaping me. God will speak to you, and not only will He bless you in your life and change things up in your life, but because of that change happening, that shifting, that reshaping, other people will begin to be reshaped as well. Shifted, changed, challenged. Remember for graduation Sunday, just stood out to me about everyone was talking about Haley for graduation, and they're like, everyone was fighting over Haley. He would be her mentor. Everyone's fighting over Haley. And I remember how that happened. Like everybody was like, my heart just feels drawn to Haley. I gotta do it, right? And everyone was fighting over Haley to be your mentor. I remember the moment that Dom stepped in my youth room, and we had a youth meeting that night, and I said, Dom's mine. Everyone's like, oh, okay, well. And I was like, God has something in my heart for him. I gotta choose him. And God has such an amazing calling on this young man. Just know that when you are at that place where you're like saying, God, come into me, changing me, shifting me, wake something up in me, shift me, change me, reshape me, and I'm spending time with you, he will speak into you in a profound way that is not just going to be held with you. He will then pour into other people. Take time this week to really spend time in silence.